slideshows in Lightroom, you'll use the Slideshow module. However, you'll want to import the images you want to include in your slideshow as well as place those images into a collection. If you're using the program as you follow along with the course, you should go ahead and accomplish those tasks now. After that, you'll be ready to start this lesson. We're going to discuss selecting a slideshow template, customizing the layout, selecting a background, adding borders and shadows, creating a text overlay, saving a slideshow, and working with the Playback Panel. Lightroom offers you preset templates that you can find and use in the Slideshow module to easily create slideshows. As with the book layouts, you can customize any of the templates for your needs. To select a template, go to the Template Browser panel in the left panel group. Expand the Lightroom Templates folder. You can use the Preview panel in the left panel group to see how your image looks in a template layout. You can select different images from the film strip to preview in the template. Now go to the toolbar. Click All Film Strip Photos. If this doesn't appear, select it from the menu. Go to the film strip and select the first image. Click the Preview button at the bottom of the right panel group to see a preview of your slideshow in Slide Editor view. The layout of the slides in your slideshow can be adjusted to meet your needs or wants. We'll do this by adjusting the margins. This will feel very similar to when we adjusted padding in photo books. To adjust the layout, go to the Layout panel in the right panel group. Both Show Guides and Link All options should have check marks next to them. Next, mouse over the lower part of your image that's displayed in the work area until you see the pointer change to a double arrow. When you see it, drag upwards to adjust the padding. Note that when we adjusted the margins, all four margins, top, bottom, left, and right, were moved equally. That's because the Link All option was checked in the Layout panel. If it wasn't, we would have only adjusted the bottom margin. To select a background for a slide, go to the Backdrop panel in the right panel group. Make sure Background Image is checked if you want to use an image for your slide background. Next, click and drag the image that you want to use for the background to the panel. You can then use the opacity slider to adjust the opacity of the image. If you want to apply a background color, make sure background color is activated in the Backdrop panel. Click on the color title to the right of background color and then select a color using the color picker. The problem with adding a background to a slide is that sometimes the image seems to fade into the background. In other words, the image doesn't pop like it should. You can change this by adding borders and shadows to your image to help it stand out more. Take a look at our slide after we added a background color. This is nice, but we can make the image stand out a little more. Let's add a border or a stroke color to the image. To do this, go to the right panel group and then go to the Options panel. Click to check the Stroke Border option. You can click on the color tile to the right of Stroke Border to access the color picker and choose a color. Use the width slider to increase the thickness of the border. To add a shadow, put a check mark beside Cast Shadow. You can set the opacity of the shadow, determine the offset, or how far the shadow is offset from the image, the angle, and the radius. The radius setting determines the softness of the edges of the shadow. Experiment with each of these options to create the shadow that you want. Text overlays can be added to your slides using the Overlays panel. You can also add a watermark, ratings, or an identity plate. To add a text overlay, go to the Overlays panel. Put a check mark beside Text Overlays. Go to the toolbar and click ABC, which is the Text to Slide button. You'll see a text field appear to the right. Enter your text and then press Enter. Your text then appears in the lower left-hand corner of your slide. A bounding box also appears around the text. Move your mouse over the bounding box and then click and drag to place it on your slide. When you drag the text, it attaches itself to an anchor. You can change the size of the text by dragging in or out on the bounding box. To do this, move your mouse over one of the handles on the bounding box until you see a two-way arrow. Click and drag outward to increase the text size and drag inward to decrease it. To change the font or font face, go to the Overlays panel. Click the Menu button to select a new font or font face. You can also adjust the opacity and the color of the text. Click outside of the bounding box to add your text and make the bounding box disappear. Saving a slideshow is much like saving a photo book. Click the Create Save Slideshow button in the top panel. You'll then see the Create Slideshow dialog box. Enter a name for the slideshow and then specify the collection in which to save it. Click the Create button. You'll then see the slideshow in the specified collection. The Playback panel allows you to set the timing for your slides as well as add a soundtrack. To add music to your slideshow, make sure there's a check mark beside Audio in the Playback panel. Click the Select Music button, then find the music on your computer that you want to use. You can click the Preview button at the bottom of the right panel group to preview it. Press Escape to stop the playback. The challenging part of creating a slideshow is setting the duration of the slides to match the audio file. To adjust the slide duration to match the length of the audio file, go to the Playback panel, then click Fit to Music. Now uncheck Manual Slideshow and then drag the Fade slider to set the duration of the fade. Make sure you also disable Random Order and Repeat. You can export slideshows as PDFs or as a video file. To export your slideshow, go to the Export PDF button at the bottom of the left panel group. You'll then see the Export Slideshow to PDF dialog box. You can choose the width and height as well as the quality for your slideshow. Enter a name for your slideshow and then click the Export button. If you want to export your slideshow as a video, click the Export Video button. Repeat the same steps to export the video.